Give yourself a pep talk. Give yourself a pep talk. That's right. I'm telling you to give yourself one of these. Or one of these.
But you know what? As cheesy as it sounds, if you take some time and cultivate this skill within you,
It can become like a torch that can lead you through your darkest hours. What I'm talking about is building yourself up with your own words, thoughts, and emotions when you encounter difficult situations in life. It might sound like common sense, but for most of us, unfortunately, it's not the default setting. Most of us have become all too familiar with the proverbial negative voice that seems to arise during stressful situations. The one that knows all your weak points and wounds and knows exactly how to poke at them. The one that loves to criticize and judge your every mistake and shortcoming and berate you for not knowing better. And for those who have encountered this voice, you know it can be particularly bullying, harsh, and brutal, often without remorse. Once it starts speaking, it can be very hard to turn off, which can cause some of us to be tangled and stuck in negative thought loops, which can last hours, days, weeks, or longer. Now, understanding the reason we even have this negative voice to begin with is a fascinating topic in its own right, but that's a subject for another video that I do plan on making, by the way. Many of us have been talking to ourselves in this way for so long that speaking positive to ourselves seems like a foreign concept, and we have no idea where to begin. So I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. First, the negative voice. Let me know if this sounds familiar. You suck, man. You're weak. You let them walk all over you, man. Would it kill you to stand up for yourself for once in your life? Seriously, dude, what's the point of trying? Nothing ever works out for you. Despite all the work you've done, you're still dealing with this issue? Wow, that's pretty pathetic, man. No wonder nobody cares about you. Is that really the best you can do? Wow, that was horrible. I'm pretty sure I'll always be alone. Yeah. Oh God, I cringe when I think of the life I've led. I fucking hate myself. Okay, you still with me? A little brutal, huh? I understand for some people that might be way too intense. For others, that might not be even close to how it feels for them. I kind of try to do something kind of in the middle and something that is related to things that I've said about myself in the past. And sometimes I still do have some of these thoughts. Okay, so now for the pep talk, the positive talk. And keep in mind that this can sound totally different depending on the person and the situation. All right? Okay, so let's go. Damn, that didn't go so well. But you know what? I don't want to go down that all too familiar path of negative thinking today. No. I want to enjoy today. Despite this mishap, this issue, this incident, this embarrassing, shameful moment. Because I have just spent way too much time in my life in dark places, and it's time to make a change. Despite everything that's happened today, I'm still going to find one thing to be grateful for, even if it's small, and I'm going to hold on to it. You're a fighter, man. Look how far you've come. I mean, you've really been working on yourself lately. You've gone through some hard times, and you still are, yet you're continuing to make positive changes in your life despite it all. And that's beautiful. You're trying new things. You're getting out of your comfort zone. You're letting go of coping mechanisms. You're facing and you're embracing your fears. Who cares if you made a mistake, man? Make 1,000 more. It's all part of the journey. A year ago, you would have never been able to even conceive being where you are today, let alone doing what you just did. Celebrate that, man. Keep going. And yes, maybe you were a little in over your head today, and maybe a little terrified on the inside. I mean, you were terrified, let's be honest. But that's awesome, man. You still did it, despite all that, despite your fear, despite your anxiety, despite your depression. You still got out of bed and tried to do something new and scary because you wanted to do something nice for yourself. You wanted to make a positive change in your life. You want something more than what you've been living these past few years. The fact that you even attempted it is its own victory, man, regardless of the outcome. Feel good about that. You may not have achieved the desired result, but you're still working towards a better life. That's true self-love, and it was all generated by you this time, man. The life you dream of is possible, my friend. And every time you move forward, you're living that life. Never give up. Well, that felt better, didn't it? A couple things to keep in mind. Your personal pep talk might look completely different from mine. You might need to say a lot more. You might need to say way less. You might only need to say a few words. The point is to find words and thoughts that resonate with your true self, your authentic self, that speak to you. That's the whole point of this. Now, again, I know that for some of you, the idea of just talking to yourself in this positive way seems foreign, it seems maybe fake, seems kind of weird, and that's fine, that's normal. I would suggest look up videos like this, look up poetry, quotes that are inspiring. Some people do great with affirmations. I've used affirmations at times, you know, and after you start to get these down and you start to say them to yourself, start to use your own words. But you can start with other people's material initially. Eventually, I really do urge you to make up your own message for yourself. Make it funny, make it weird, make it uniquely you. So another thing to keep in mind when doing these pep talks is to never gloss over the incident. So if you're going through something like a hard time and you decide, okay, I want to do one of these pep talks, I want to build myself up, don't pretend like what just happened is fine and just put a little pink bow on it and act like everything's okay, like, oh yeah, and everything's positive. That's not the point of this. If you notice during my pep talk, I do acknowledge the issue. I acknowledge what I'm feeling, the negative emotion, the despair, the shame, whatever is coming up, I acknowledge it. I don't pretend like it didn't happen. I'm being honest about it. The difference is I'm not then on top of that going to berate myself and bring myself down. So what I'm doing is I'm holding space for both emotional states to exist. I'm going to allow the negative feelings to be there because they're there and I'm feeling them and they're authentic. But at the same time, I'm also going to try to carry myself through that. Like, you know what? Yes, this happened, but today I want to try to feel better. Or yes, that did happen, but look at all the positives that also happened. Don't, you know, and I'm saying, yes, this happened. I feel this way. This sucks, you know, but I'm also going to carry myself through to the other side with love and compassion. That's kind of the point, and you have to get into that rhythm. It's almost like you're talking to a kid who's scared of something, and you're like, you know, you're giving them the pep talk, you're kind of like encouraging them, and you're saying, yeah, I understand why you would feel scared. You know, I understand that you're feeling this emotion. You're allowing that emotion to exist. And that's important, and that's something I always do with these, and I recommend. So don't pretend that it's something is good when it's not. You know, be authentic, be honest, admit to the emotion, you know, and that's one of my best tips. So another tip I have, and this is for those who are struggling with speaking positive about themselves, is to just look back at the journey you've been on, at all the progress that you've made up until this point. That's just a great way to get into that mode of feeling good about yourself, and it makes the process a lot easier. So do that. Always have that perspective. Look how far you've come. You're like, okay, it's not all that bad. I have done some good stuff there. Use that emotion, that feeling of feeling good about yourself as, you know, the launching point for your pep talk. Also, you know, I'm using the term pep talk because I thought it was a little funny and I wanted to have a little bit of lightheartedness in this video. But it's, you know, positive self-reflection, self-motivating speech. You know, feel free to just think of it as you're using your own words to build yourself up. That's all this is. Bring some humor into it if you can. If you can laugh at yourself during one of these little pep talk moments, that can be amazing. That can lift you up so much. I mean, because a lot of times we're doing something new and it's scary. We've never done it, so we're gonna mess up. It's almost like a little bit of a life blooper. look back on it. If you notice during my talk that I did, I kind of had a moment where I broke into laughter, and it was so self-loving. It was so like, oh, man, you're doing good, man. That was hilarious, though. You got to admit that kind of energy. So you're not bringing yourself down. You're just looking at something because you're trying new things. It's scary. You're gonna mess up, you know. And also with these, if you have weird little quirks or weird little sayings that you or you and your family, your friends do that kind of make you laugh, like add that to your talk. Like if you have a nickname for yourself, I really do emphasize like make this so your thing. It's only for you. It just, I mean, it could be shared, but it really is designed just to be your way of talking to yourself. Things that really resonate with you, but make it weird, funny. I really emphasize that. Also, you know, I just want to say that this is a tool that I have been developing for over 10 years now. It started very basic with just encouraging words when I would be let down or if I was in a dark place. And I'd like, no, man, you could keep going, you know, but very simple. And over the time, it's become like this. I called it a pep talk because that's what it kind of resembled to me. And it has helped me so much. Am I saying I never have like a downtime? No. But what I am saying is that the time that I feel when I have those moments where I feel like, you know, I'm going through something very painful, it doesn't last as long. Or you can look at it as I don't have to sit in that emotion. You know, again, I acknowledge it. I'm not feeling good, but like, you know what? I need to keep going. And that's one of the big differences is how long do I stay in those low states? It's been life changing. And it's something that you can do anytime. It's free. You have this. If you develop it, you have it within you. It's almost like you have a buddy who comes over. And this doesn't have to replace that. If you have friends, if you're going to therapy, that's awesome too. This is just an extra tool to have. When you are alone, you happen to be alone for whatever reason, and you're going through something, this voice, you develop it. It becomes like your best friend. It's you. So what could be better than that? Finally, I just want to close with congratulations to all of you who are trying to make positive changes in your life. I know, you know, it's not easy. So, you know, feel good about that. You know, give yourself some credit there. You know, we're all in this together, so let's go. We can do this. Okay, guys, take it easy.